Good evening, everyone. This is Lisa, your favorite spoon bunny. And tonight I am joined once again by my lovely friend, Miss Vanessa.
Hi.
And she's joining us tonight because tonight we're going to be discussing staying independent versus saving your spoons.
Yeah.
And the reason that this topic came up is because I know that this COVID-19 bullpucky has been really tough on everybody. And people have been losing their jobs, they've been losing their homes, and they've been losing their lives. And, for reasons that will not state here, it's been tough on Miss Vanessa too. And so, for the last couple of months, she has been staying with us. And the reason for that being is, we couldn't see her going through all this COVID-19 crap without, lending a hand. We love her, my husband and I, we love her dearly. She's been a friend of ours for several years now, and we couldn't just stand aside and do nothing. We reached out to her and we said, come stay with us. The upside for us being that, by the way, she makes the absolute best desserts you could ever possibly taste. So we've been getting very, very fat on pies and cakes and flan and empanadas and all sorts of other good stuff that you would absolutely just kill to eat. But, she's been staying with us for the last couple of months, and we've been enjoying her company every day. But because, she hasn't lived with us for the last 17 years, she's not used to all of the stuff that my husband and I have been going through for the last 5. And in fact, she had never even been exposed to someone with a chronic illness in her life, let alone one that is as debilitating and severe as my RSD is. And so for the last couple of months, she's been learning the boundaries and the difference between what I want in maintaining my independence and keeping, some level of activity and muscle, muscle tone and capability versus being able to save my spoons. And so I'm gonna let her, sort of lay out what that has looked like for her in the last couple of months, because for me, all that's looked like is someone that feels sorry for me and someone who wants to do everything for me and wants to, sort of hover and, be sort of a helicopter caretaker. So I'm gonna, sort of let her lay out what it's looked like for her, watching me struggle to do things that maybe I had no business doing, and maybe seeing what may have looked like to her as stubbornness.
Oh yeah. And there is a lot of that sometimes. Well, for me it was the first time in my life that I have been exposed to someone with such debilitating and painful condition. There was a moment when Lisa told me, well, you're feeling sorry for me. And I told her, no, actually, no, I'm not feeling sorry. It's like everybody has to go through their own challenges, but I just need to understand, because I have just a few friends that have immune disease conditions, but they do not talk even about them. And the first time that I came here, we went, they wanted to take me out, and with the social distancing, knowing some part of the town, and I saw her that she was at the beginning um, of the trip, whatever we were doing. She was like, "Okay, I can do it," and I was like, "Okay, what she can do?" So she was looking normal, but during our walks, I could see her that she was having troubles, or she was slowing down. Even sometimes I could see her that maybe she didn't even notice it, but she was like uh, having not the same kind of response in her hands, touching things that I thought from the beginning that they would be falling from her hands. And it was kind of hard for me at the beginning because I wanted to do everything for her. Like, you don't have to lay down to pick up a towel or something, like something that we take for granted normally. And there were times when I was trying to help, but at the same time, I was noticing that it was like from her end, like, let me do it. I mean, it's like, yes, I have an immune disease, but that doesn't mean that that I cannot get up of the bed. It might take her longer time, but I think we sometimes, and we have all done this sometimes, is we treat or talk about the person as she's or the person is not there, and they are. They can see, they can do. I mean, they are person, they are there, they are alive. And but not knowing is like, for a while I didn't even know if she could be hot, which sounds weird. But when I noticed all of the kind of products that she has to use just for laundry, it was like, I do not need all that for my laundry. Like, it's a jeans. It's like, it's supposed to be kind of harder than the rest of the fabrics, but it's like it was kind of hard. Um, when I was cooking something, like I wanted something hot or something cold, I didn't really know how she will be responding to the change in temperature on the food. And apparently it's very normal in that part. But there are a lot of things that I take for granted, or we all take for granted, that they don't have that easy. And sometimes I am the one that gets frustrated because I said the other day, you don't have to do that. Save your spoons for something that you might want to do later, that you maybe don't know yet, but it will be more fun than whatever you're trying to do now, just to show me that you can do it. And that is the part when she get kind of So there's the part where she's going to explain right now why she is doing this video.
Yeah. And part of it is, as I said, for us, especially for those of us who have chronic pain and who have rather debilitating disorders that keep us in bed for several days on end, part of it is that we need some level of activity in order to avoid muscle atrophy and muscle wasting. And so even if we are on our rolling walkers, even if we are on our cane that particular day, we need to be up and walking. We need to be up and doing our own laundry. We need to be up and doing something so that we aren't losing our ability to move, so that we aren't losing our ability to use our arms and our legs. Because if we start losing that muscle, the harder it is for us to be able to maintain our motor function, especially in CRPS and RSD patients, because of the fact that our disorder attacks our limbs in particular. We have that risk of losing the use of our limbs. And so we run the risk of losing that capability and losing, actually becoming paralyzed in those limbs. So there's very much an emphasis in physical therapies and maintaining, that activity and keeping and making sure that you do something. My doctor asks me at every appointment, what are you able to do because of your meds? It's something that he asks me every single time, because that's part of the research and that's part of what they need to do in order to make sure that they're doing their job and make sure that they're keeping in line with what they have to do in order to make sure that they keep our functionality present into the future. And so there's a difference between, keeping our independence versus saving our spoons. And it's kind of a fine line, that we have to walk in order
Very
to...
thin, like the day that I didn't tell you about the patch because I didn't know if it will be something that it was not supposed to be there, and it was the thin line.
Yeah. So, and there was a day, I took a shower, on one particular day, and I forgot to put my medication patch back on. Totally flew over my ears, and they're gone.
Like that.
And I spaced out and forgot to put my medication patch back on, and I continued to forget and continue to forget and continue to forget, and 5 days later still didn't have it on, and I just walked into the room and I was like, God bless it, I still don't have my patch on. What the heck? And so I put it on, and Vanessa was like, I didn't know you were supposed to have it. I'm sorry. I was like, you didn't know. What are you going to do? But, even, the chronic illness patient themselves may not know where the line is drawn between, maintaining their independence versus trying to save that spoon. And it's kind of a fine line, and it's kind of changing every day, like that line in the sand, that kind of comes and goes and disappears, and you never know kind of where it is. And to some people it may look a lot like stubbornness. My own husband's been with me for 17 years, and he still kind of, puts his big foot down and is like, you are being stubborn. Stop it. And I'm just like, I need to do this. Please let me do it. I need to. But then there are days where I fall flat on my face, sometimes literally, and it's like, yeah, I was being stubborn. I'm sorry. And sometimes it's kind of hard to admit, even to myself, where I was being stubborn, and where I need to learn to be easier on myself and understand when and where I can and should accept help. And so I need to just encourage you all to love your caregivers, let them love you, and accept the help if you need it. Caregivers, love your patients, but also, if they tell you they need to do something, then let your patient be independent if they can. But on those days that they're stuck in bed, especially, that's when they're going to need you the most. And on that day, even if you've just sat down, which is precisely when my husband sometimes reaches his limit, when he just sat down and oops, I need something. Sometimes that's when that tests his patience a little bit. Caregivers, be patient and love your patient. So, Miss Vanessa, do you have anything else to add?
No, I just remember your husband's face when when that happens. I think it's as well important from our end to ask, because I constantly have to ask if it's okay that we help with something, if they need something, and as well, you as patient, explain that you're trying to set a boundary in every time, because when we see that it's just about to fall, you want to run like if it was a baby that is just learning to walk. They are not going to break. And of course, it's not that you are going to let them fall, but sometimes it's the emotional part, is the need that they still capable of doing the most basic stuff that we do. So there will be good days, they're having good days, and they're having bad days. So learning from the very small details to recognize what are going to be those days, and just be confident in asking if they want the help, or if they want just for you to be there just in case they need it minutes later, but not jumping on conclusions that you will need to do everything for them. Let them be. That's from my end.
Alrighty. Well, until next time, my friends, this is the Spoon Bunny and Vanessa signing off. May your spoons be plenty and your troubles be few. Have a great night.